And now back to our story. Intrigued but hesitant, she reaches out and presses play, eager to discover what awaits her in this enigmatic realm. The film takes us back in time to the year 2042, where technology has advanced to the point of creating realistic human clones. Among these advancements is the substance, a remarkable serum that can restore a person's youth, turning back their biological clock by 5 years for a price, of course. But it comes with a terrifying catch. Every 7 days, the clone replaces the original and in doing so, destroys the memory of the original self. Meanwhile, the original is placed in a cryogenic chamber until it's time to switch back. This process is not without its side effects. The new body feels strange and vulnerable, and many people choose to end their lives rather than live through the torment of losing their identity. Back in the present, Elizabeth is shocked by what she has just witnessed. She confronts the nurse from the hospital, determined to uncover the truth behind the mysterious substance. However, the nurse remains tight-lipped, only providing more questions than answers. Determined to find out the truth about the substance, Elizabeth confides in her best friend Jerry, who happens to be a detective. Together they visit a former colleague of Elizabeth, Dr. Luther Sloan, hoping he can shed some light on the matter. Dr. Sloan reveals that he was fired from his job because the company didn't want him working on the substance. However, he continued his research independently. According to Dr. Sloan, the substance is created using DNA from a petri dish. Once the serum is ready, it's injected into a healthy individual, which then becomes a perfect clone. However, there is one crucial difference between the two individuals. When the clone is created, all the memories of the original person are erased, and the clone assumes the identity of the original. After hearing this, Jerry confronts the nurse, demanding answers. The nurse admits to being a clone and explains that the substance has been used on numerous celebrities, including Elizabeth. He reveals that he was originally named Matthew and was created as a replacement for a famous actor. However, when it was time for the switch, Matthew refused to let the original actor take his life and instead helped him escape. As the story unfolds, it's revealed that Harvey, Elizabeth's producer, is also a clone. He had originally planned to retire and enjoy his life, but when his clone arrived, he was offered the opportunity to stay young forever. Desperate to hold on to his youth and fame, Harvey agrees to the procedure. Meanwhile, Elizabeth, with the help of Jerry and Dr. Sloan, devises a plan to expose Harvey's secret and bring him to justice. They confront Harvey, exposing his true identity as a clone. In a dramatic showdown, Harvey reveals that he has taken the substance multiple times, allowing him to live forever as a young man. However, he warns that taking the substance too many times can have fatal consequences, causing the body to reject the serum and resulting in a gruesome death. As the truth is exposed, Jerry is horrified to discover that he too is a clone, having been created as a replacement for a police officer. But Jerry refuses to accept his fate. Instead, he chooses to die on his own terms, sacrificing himself to save Elizabeth and bring down Harvey. In the end, Elizabeth is left to deal with the aftermath of the exposure, realizing that she may be next in line to be replaced. The film ends on a cliffhanger, leaving viewers to wonder if she will be able to escape her fate or if she will become another victim of the terrifying substance. A mysterious package arrived at my doorstep. The return address had no name or sender, just a strange series of numbers. I couldn't resist the urge to open it, but inside I found something that made me slam the package shut and throw it in the trash. It was a USB drive with the label, "Do not open until midnight." Of course, I didn't listen and instead put the USB in my computer. As soon as it loaded, a creepy message flashed across the screen. It said, "If you receive this package, you cannot escape. Your life will change forever. In 48 hours, someone will come for you and you must let them in willingly. If you do, the transformation can begin. But if you refuse, your loved ones will suffer the consequences." I was terrified and immediately threw the USB in the trash. But then curiosity started eating away at me. What did the message mean? Who would come for me? Was it some kind of joke? I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't resist. I pulled the USB out of the trash and looked around to make sure I was alone. Then I plugged it in and waited. The screen flashed again. This time it showed a phone number. My hands were shaking as I dialed it. But before I could even speak, a mysterious operator answered. "Hello, what can I do for you?" I whispered, afraid that my voice would betray me. I want to order the substance." The man on the other end of the line didn't respond right away. It felt like an eternity before he finally spoke. "You sure you want this? There's no turning back once you start?" His voice was low and menacing. "Yes, I'm sure," I managed to say, my voice barely a whisper. The man asked for my address and I gave it to him, my heart pounding in my chest. He then told me to wait 12 hours and hung up. I was left trembling, wondering what would happen next. The very next morning I got a package with no return address. Inside was a key card with the number 503 written on it. On the back was another cryptic message. "Go to the Whispering Alley behind Starlight Cinema at midnight and find the numbered door. Use the card to open it and take what's inside. Hurry, you only have 72 hours to complete the transformation." I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I knew I had to follow the instructions. So at midnight I went to the address written on the card. It was a dark and narrow alley behind a rundown cinema. At the end of the alley was a strange, spotless room with a large metal door. Above the door was a keypad, and when I pressed the button, it lit up with the number 503. I inserted the card and it opened with a loud groan. Inside was a long, dark corridor lined with hundreds of lockers. I walked down the hall until I reached locker 503. My hands were shaking as I unlocked it and opened the door. Inside was a sealed package wrapped in black tape. I took it out and quickly left the room, afraid of what might happen if I stayed any longer. When I got home, I tore the package open and found a neatly folded pile of clothes, a silver-colored vial filled with a glowing green liquid, another smaller vial filled with a cloudy white liquid, a small plastic bag containing a switch kit, and 3 pre-packaged meals labeled Day 1, Day 2, and Day 3, and finally there was a note with the most important instructions. The green liquid is the activator. You must inject it into your arm at exactly midnight. The white liquid is the stabilizer, and it must be taken every single day, directly from the original body. The switch kit is used to transfer the liquid from the vials to the syringe. Do not attempt to use the substance on anyone else or else they will die. And most importantly, the 2 versions must switch places every 7 days without fail. Even if you try to stop the transformation, it will continue. You are still one person. I was so scared I could barely read the instructions, but I knew I had no choice. I was already too far in. I had to finish what I started. I took a deep breath and stepped into the bathroom. I looked down at the syringe filled with glowing green liquid and hesitated for a moment before injecting it into my arm. It felt like fire was running through my veins. I screamed in pain as my back ripped open and an entire person emerged from within my body. It was me, but younger and more beautiful. The girl looked back at me with wide eyes and quickly sewed up the back of my shirt. But soon she started feeling dizzy and collapsed in the shower. Blood was coming out of her nose. I knew I had to act fast. Using the switch kit, I extracted the stabilizer fluid from my spine and injected it into her, bringing her back to life. And that's when I realized I wasn't crazy. The mysterious package and the creepy message were real. And now I had to follow the instructions or die.